This is UV and MSD episode 4. Gonna lighten things up a little bit. We've been talking about COVID related issues in these last few episodes, but now we get a chance to swap it up. I'm your guest host, Tyler Bennett. Sitting down with us today is the Assistant Superintendent for Auxiliary Services, Mr. Dusty Duncan. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, so main thing we want to talk about today, there's been a lot of renovations since the students were here last. March 13th, the last day of school where we had kids in the classrooms. A lot has changed in the Marion School District. Not necessarily things that people are seeing too, like new turf and new track. There's also other things like air conditioning units and roofs, not necessarily the most attractive things, but stuff that needed to be done. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. And I'll back up and refer to what you just said. They're basically two different kind of projects that are going on. We've got some glitzy, eye-catching kind of projects, not frivolous by any stretch. I mean, these are projects that add value to the school, they add value to the community, and they're very, very visible. Okay, and then we have all these other projects that are mundane, sort of. You better do these if you're going to have school kind of projects. Okay, around here they call them Mr. Duncan projects that we have to do. Okay, in order to have school, but you're not going to see those. Okay, for example, we've since last March when we got out, we've done a roof project in the whole district. We had a whole series of roofs all across the district that were had outlived their life expectancy. They were out of warranty. I could not purchase service agreements on those anymore because of the expense of those. And so what we did, we came in, we did core samples, we did infrared scans of those roofs, to see if they were holding moisture. And we figured out that a lot of those roofs we could put coatings on them. So we ended up coating about 658,000 square foot of roofs all over the campuses, all over the district. No one really knows that happens. Okay, and let me say this too: if I do my stuff right, if we do it the right way, they won't notice. That's the intent. The intent is not to disturb anybody when we do that. So 658,000 square feet of new roof coverings. It saved the district a lot of money. That was much cheaper than if we did tear-offs and new roofs and things like that. So we did that project, completed that almost a month ago. So that's been a little bit ago. Right now we're in the midst of an HVAC retrofit also. We have 111 rooftop units. Many of those are old units, and I'm sure you've been keeping up with the R22 refrigerant issues. I know that was
Absolutely
very important to you. R22 is the refrigerant that we use in those, and that's being phased out by the government. Okay, either this year or next year is the last year that you can buy that. They've already stopped producing it. So all of our units are R22 units. Okay, so we're in the process of changing those out. You won't notice that happening either unless you happen to see a crane on one of the campuses. Okay, but we'll change out all 111 units. That'll happen in just the next few weeks. And then we'll start working on what we call split units. That's the units that have, kind of like in your house, you have a unit inside and then a piece outside. 3 years ago, we replaced all of the furnaces with high efficiency furnaces in all of the classrooms. That took a summer to do. And the reason I'm bringing that up is when we did that, and we did that with Entergy money, by the way, we got some really good rebates for that because we were increasing the efficiency of the systems. When we did that, then it's coupled to the old unit. So now we want to come back, we want to change all those old units out, get rid of the R22, and then put a more efficient unit in there. Which, by the way, is a good thing for an era of COVID and flu and pneumonia and things like that, because we'll be able to turn the air over even that much faster in the classrooms. That's about a $2 million project as well.
The new HVAC systems, is there any advantage with the new systems as far as like a COVID situation is concerned?
Oh, yeah, certainly. Right now, our systems are Our system is pretty efficient right now, even with the old units. Okay, so our goal right now is to completely turn over the air in each classroom about 4 times an hour.
Wow.
That's hospital grade. Okay, and I think with the new units, we might be able to do a little bit better than that. We'll certainly be able to get the fresh air in there much quicker with the new units. And in addition to that, we have access control. I'm sorry, not access control, but we have building controls for every unit that is on every campus now. So I can see those from my computer. So we can adjust the set points, what temperatures the air comes on. What we've done already this summer, we started putting those set points a little bit lower. Now, that means two things. First, it's going to be a little bit cooler in the classrooms, but it also may get us a whole nother cycle of turning that air over. And then certainly when we put the new units in, we'll be able to turn it over even that much faster, I hope.
We also had some renovations to the exteriors of the buildings as well. When you went to the quad, you saw a lot of green. That's changed. Also, a lot of the doors too. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I never understood the green. Being Marion Patriots and red, white, and blue, so I never quite got that. But a year ago, we did new entrances for all of the magnet schools, and also the high school. And then we were left with all that green out there. The mansards on top of the roofs, the roof of the multi-purpose building there. It was green. The other entrances, they were all green. So this summer we've gone back, we've painted all those to match it with the silver product. It's called Lucabond, silver Lucabond that's on the high school and those other entrances. So we're gradually getting rid of the green. I think the only thing left over there now is the green roof on the field house, on the indoor practice facility. And that's so far away from needing a new roof. Again, we have a fiducial responsibility to the taxpayers. So it wouldn't make sense to go in there and replace that roof when it's got so much life expectancy left on it. So we're going to have to live with that green for just a little while.
Absolutely. We'll go on to some more renovations, but also in the field house, there's been some renovations in there as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. In the field house, we've got some new weight equipment. We've moved that from upstairs to downstairs. Part of that was, of course, we had some old obsolete equipment, and it wasn't as safe as we wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. In addition, the style of lifting weights has changed. Okay, and how heavy the weights are now. Mm-hmm. Our athletes are bigger and faster and stronger, and they're lifting more weights. So we wanted to get it off that top level, that second story, and get it down to the floor. Mm-hmm. And then we also came in, we repainted everything. We've done some of our logos, decals on the walls and things like that to make it be a more inviting place as well. And that turf in there, and this is not going to be a this summer project. We'll have to do this a little bit later on. But since the turf on the football field failed, and we replaced that as a warranty item, then we've got some contacts now where we think we can get a good deal on replacing the turf inside the indoor practice facility as well. Now it's way over its life expectancy. It probably should have been placed a while ago. But now that we have these good contacts, I think we can get a pretty good price on that too. So we're working on that project.
Staying at the high school, I noticed at the courtyard they're doing some work out there right now. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, that's one of those. You better do this if you're going to have school projects. And there's a little bit of background to that. And I want to tell you the background, because if you're riding by and you see that, you wonder why we're doing that. Mm-hmm. the week before school starts. About 3 weeks ago, we had a leak out there, and we were doing some work, and we ran the plumber snakes through the pipes, and everything was pretty good. We got it all cleared out, and then I guess, that's been a while back, and then about 3 weeks ago, I walked out there, and the end down there where the picnic tables are.
Yes.
Okay, well, one of those corners had sunk at least 3 inches. As a matter of fact, I thought maybe it had happened and I just hadn't noticed it, So I called some other guys to come over and look at it. And what had happened was the sewer line there. Of course, that's a 1970 something building, I think, and all that sewer line was ceramic pipe. Okay, well, the roots had gotten into it and it had collapsed. So that happened during those just few months. So we had the sewer line was totally collapsed on that end. So we started this week tearing that out to get it fixed, and we'll have the sewer lines fixed, before school starts. But there'll be some concrete out there that we haven't had a chance to pour yet. Okay, so we'll build bridges and do whatever we have to make do. But over the next month, we'll get all of that cleaned out. We'll have a new surface there. We'll probably lose some of the trees because the sewer line collapsed like it did. But that gives us a clean slate, and that's one of the areas we wanted to dress up anyway. We want some more picnic tables out there. We want an inviting outside area for the kids to eat in. All right, so while this is inconvenient timing, it is a convenient project.
Absolutely. Also, looking at some of the other schools, I've noticed the new playgrounds at the magnet schools. We had a chance to film some kids out there testing them out, and also with one of those, a brand new picket fence in front of Herbert Carter. Can you tell us about those projects?
Yeah. We thought the picket fence matched the neighborhood, and that really started back with the updated Methodist Church there. When they came in and they did all their renovations. That's several years ago. They kept that old style. And so when it was time to replace the old original Marion School building, okay, we kept the same style. And so the picket fence is down there by what's the oldest building on that campus now. Okay, and I think that looks pretty good and matches the neighborhood. The playgrounds, I'd like to touch on that. That's one of those cool visible projects that we were talking about a little bit earlier. The playgrounds, when we converted to the magnet school system, if you remember several years ago, Herbert Carter, of course, was Marion Elementary, and I believe it was a second and third grade building. Okay, so we had this weird configuration all over the district, and then we decided to go to the magnet concept. We converted those three of the buildings into K-6 schools, and when we did that, we got a lot more students there into Herbert Carter. We didn't have enough playground space. As a matter of fact, we didn't have enough playground space by code for any of those three magnet schools. So we've got brand new this summer playgrounds on each of the schools. And again, they're our school colors. And they are cool, visible projects. But they're also, like I said, this is not frivolous projects. These are adding value to the school and the community. If you drive by any day after hours, you will see kids out there on those playgrounds. Now, there's still a little bit of work to do on those. We have some landscaping to do. I've got fencing to do on the other two campuses. Okay, and we will work on that. We'll work on that as well. But again, those are good school community projects, which is something that we laid out when we were asking for the millage to pass. That we wanted to have a better working relationship with the community, and we wanted to build things that the community had access to.
Speaking of things community has access to, brand new track out at the football field as well.
That's correct. Brand new track. The track was well overdue for replacing. It had lost its elasticity, and that's I guess that's proof that none of the projects ever work out exactly like you expect them to. We knew that the football field turf was failing, and we were in the works with AstroTurf to get that replaced under warranty, and that gave us a perfect time to replace the track as well. So we peeled off the surface. We had a company come in, peel the surface off, get down to the asphalt there, and discovered that the asphalt was failing too. All right, so we had to come back, replace all the asphalt, we replaced all the walking surface. So now we have the right type of walking surface out there, one that we can use for state preliminary meets, or we could host a state meet out there now. We couldn't have done that before. And like you said, we have the new turf on the football field as well.
Very nice.
Okay.
I also understand there were some renovations to the band rooms.
Yes, not quite as extensive, but as we walked in there and like all the programs, we're trying to upgrade everything. We want to upgrade all the extracurricular. We want to upgrade all of the academic programs as well. So we go into the band rooms, and they just needed a fresh coat of paint. They needed some new equipment. They needed new carpet. So we've gone in, we've painted those, we've carpeted those, or put the vinyl tile in them, depending on which one they needed. So yes, we've done band rooms. That really fell under a typical summer project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, typically in the summer, and I'll share a little bit of that with you as well. On a typical summer, we will come in and we will address every floor in the district. We're all just under 1 million square foot under roof in our district. Some 900,000 of that is conditioned space. So every summer we will come in and we'll address all of those floors. We'll either strip and wax those floors, or we'll top scrub and wax them. We'll also clean all of the carpet. That's a typical summer. In addition to that, we'll paint almost every hallway in the district. We painted all of the magnet schools at this point. We held off on one of the schools, so the North Annex, we haven't painted yet because there were some warranty issues with that from the previous previous renovation. So they're going to come in next week and do that for us. We're not going to pay for that. So like I said, we address every classroom in some fashion. Some classrooms get new carpet, some get new flooring, many of them get painted, and all of the hallways get painted during summer.
With the renovations going around the campus, there's also an opportunity for new tech to be introduced to the district. I understand some new additions such as cameras.
Yes, this summer we have added additional cameras to every campus. We've more than doubled the number of cameras on the buses, including cameras on the outside, so that one of the growing concerns is how often people pass buses that are parked. Okay, so we have cameras now that can catch those license plates when they pass, and we will turn those in, because it's paramount that we take care of our kids. Okay, that is our. I know we're an educational institution, and that's what we're supposed to be about, but kids' safety is paramount. We have to do that first of all. So we've added cameras to the additional cameras to the buses. We've also added some GPS systems to the buses so that we can, from the shop, from the transportation shop, we can locate a bus. Okay, and that's a precursor to being able to locate children. And when parents call and the bus is running late, and we can eventually we'll be able to tell them exactly where that bus is on the route, especially early in the year, because the routes are always going to be longer. To getting those kids dropped off until we get a good routine going. And the truth is, we don't really know who's going to ride the bus, until after that first week. We have a list, but then people begin to show up, and they'll do that all the way through Labor Day.
Going back into safety for the children, I also understand there's been some new additions to the doors at campuses.
True. We have new entryways for every campus. Mm-hmm. And in the new entryways, we put in new storefronts or aluminum storefronts. The beauty of that is we can run the wiring to electric strikes so that we can have access control. So if someone comes into that airlock, someone sitting at a desk can literally look at them and flip the switch and let them in. There's a couple of places where we don't have airlocks yet because of the old design of the buildings. And we'll remedy that over the next couple of years also. But we'll put cameras there so that they can see the folks. We'll put an intercom there so they can express why they're there. And of course, this year, especially the beginning of the school, because of the COVID situation, we're not letting just anyone in anyway. As a matter of fact, we're telling parents that, and we dislike this, but I don't know another option. We're telling parents that, you need to call, you need to make an appointment to come in. Mm-hmm. We need to set that up. So if we have the access control that we can control from the office or from my office even, we can lock those doors. Now, we have a number of obsolete doors in the system too. Okay, and so we're starting now to replace those. Okay, those are old metal doors that have solid metal frames around them. We'll begin this fall removing those on the different campuses, replacing them with storefront type doors, aluminum doors. So the goal is by this time next year, we have card reader access control on every campus, and hopefully on every door that the teachers use during the day to come in and out. And then we'll be able to program that from our office, the times and the dates when people can access those with their card reader.
There have also been some additions to the district because of COVID that we weren't necessarily planning on, such as new hotspots. Can you tell us about that?
So we're giving out devices
Yep.
for the students who are going to be doing online instruction. We have, like I said, a significant number of those students. We have created a couple of hotspots out in the community for areas that either do not have access or do not have phone access. We have one in Turl, we have one in Crawfordsville, and as the need arises, then we'll get our IT director, Sam Udine, involved, and we'll go out there and we'll add some more.
What are some of the other future renovations that are coming that we might not see, and then some others that are the more eye-catching ones? Like, for not going to lead you, but I understand there's some planned baseball renovations coming up.
That's true, and we're starting those soon. As a matter of fact, there's equipment out. There's equipment on the baseball field this morning. We're going to turf the baseball field. We'll start that now. We'll have that done just as quick as we possibly can. In addition to that project, now this won't happen in the next few months, but the bleachers, the concession stand, all of that will be replaced as well. So John Robbins gets a complete facelift. In addition to that, we're working with the city to replace the one of the fields at the complex. We have a softball field out there now that's in really good shape, but to give the community another option and school another option. The field next door to that has come under disrepair. They don't use that one very often, so the city, there's no reason for the city to put much into that one because they're not using that as extensively as the others. And so we are partnering with the city to build a new softball field there. Okay, so it'll be a turf field as well. It will have new bleachers, new press box, and we're hoping to be able to host state baseball and softball tournaments when we get this taken care of. We haven't hosted this baseball tournament in several years, state tournament. Okay, so we're hoping to be able to do that in the near future. We have another project that's going to be very visible, the new gym at Herbert Carter. We already have our plans, we already have the design, and we're waiting for the state to respond to that. So I'll speak a little bit about partnership funding and how that works. The state has I'm going to call it a pot of money that they set aside for projects across the state. It's about $90 million or so. That sounds like a huge amount of money. Okay, I'm not sure I can really fathom what $90 million really means. And it sounds huge, but remember, we have over 300 districts in the state. So if they divvy that out for all the projects that are happening, okay, it makes it a little bit hard to get some of that money. But in August, they look at our plans and all the other plans across the state, and they determine which ones are viable partnership plans. So I'm expecting a letter in the next week or so that says that the Marion, I almost say Marion Elementary, that the Herbert Carter gym is a viable partnership project. Okay, when they tell us that, then we can proceed. So we've got everything ready to bid out. I'm just waiting on them to tell us whether or not we're going to have an opportunity to get some funding from the state for it. Now, if we don't, that's a project that we're committed to because of the safety of the kids again. Every day, every class over there walks across that highway to get to the 1938 gym over there. Now, that 1938 gym in my opinion, one of the coolest buildings we have. No, excuse me. Cool is not the right word, okay? It is incredibly hot in that building because it's not air conditioned, but it is a neat old building. 1938 WMA project. It's one of the neatest looking buildings on campus, but it doesn't serve our need anymore. If you think about it, we're jeopardizing the kids by walking them across to get to it. Then we put them in there, and this time of the year, with exhaust fans, what is probably 85 in there or hotter. Okay, so we don't really want our kids doing that, And then when they do the highway, I understand it's going to be 4 lanes, with a turn lane in it, so it becomes even that much more dangerous. All right, so we've got the plans ready to go. We're just waiting on the state to respond to us, and then we can issue bids and we can get that project started as well.
Very nice. I definitely like that instead of having to walk across 4 lanes of military road.
Yeah,
sure.
it's just not safe.
Very nice. Well, I think that's it for all the questions we have. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Well, no, I appreciate the opportunity to come, and I'll just, if I may, I'll end like all of my other colleagues have, okay, with one patriot, one community.
That's it for this week's edition of You, Me, and MSD. Once again, thank you to Dusty Duncan for joining us. Go Pats.